Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to take an architect's view, an architect's perspective of the resort in Indonesia, Soori Bali by SCDA. So there are a lot of learnings that we can get even from just a quick look at this resort, focusing on the overall site plan and then one of the buildings there, no? So taking a look at the resort, you can see it's very beautiful. There's a very clear amenity that you can have from both the sea here and of course the fields in the back, and even this little courtyard that they've located here. Now, it's very clear how they utilized this visual amenity if you look at the site plan. So going here, you can see again the organization is very clear. Su Chan, the principal of SCDA, is a very Miesian architect, very ordered, very refined, very sleek, no? And looking at the site plan, it's very clear where the main avenues, the main lines of travel, the main organizational elements, where they lie, no, in the development. You can see that the way that they organized all the units, there's always some sort of benefit or some sort of captivated experience that each unit type can get. These ones down here basically have the sea view. These larger, more private villas have their own view of the interior greenery. And these ones at the back, their visual amenity, since they are at the back of the site, it's not the sea, but the fields here. It's a very social, it's a very luxury development. Each of these villas have their own private pools, and it is very, very nice. No? With that overview out of the way, let's take a look at, let's focus on one building lang, no, for today. Let's focus on this area, this building where you have the drop-off and the sort of welcome pavilions in this part. So looking first at the plans of this welcome pavilion, you'll notice that number one, there are three very distinct elements, right? There is the welcome roundabout. There is the first welcome structure that you have, and you also are linked to this more elevated, larger structure that is, in some sense, a gateway to what's happening in the more public areas, no? I feel that these structures have a lot to teach, especially younger architects, with respect to sequence, order, proportion, and discipline, no? So taking a look first at the drop-off that I talked about. Again, the structures that Su Chan tends to make, SCDA, are very, very sleek. They're very, very ordered. They talk a lot about repose, materiality. They aren't over the top, but they are beautiful in how simple they can be, no? You can see that in terms of the elements, you've got the roundabout, the very simple roundabout with the beautiful stone, of course, in that pattern. You've got very, very few elements of walls, and even the landscape registering as a little bit of a wall, a very soft wall here. And from this drop-off, you sort of enter under a lower canopy ceiling into that first interior courtyard. Now, looking at the interior courtyard space, there are a number of lessons that we can glean from here. So number one is this notion of a space being semi-indoor, semi-outdoor because it's covered. It's a great transition space from the full exterior going into the development. But what's also great about it is this notion of having little peaks and views from the inside. So once you enter, again, the lines are very blurred, no? That's one lesson. But in terms of the details, there's also a good number of learnings we can get from this building. Number one, with respect to lighting, actually. So you'll notice that SCDA chose to sort of really reflect and express the structure for the eaves and the canopies within this development. Now, in order to really highlight it, obviously you want to be able to have good lighting for this. So lighting is not just something you put on the ceiling and then you have this glaring light bulb that shines on you and you light everything up. No. Skilled lighting is always about lighting surfaces. And the way that they did it, look at this sconce over here. This sconce lights the floor, and it also expresses and lights the eaves. So even at night, even if there isn't a lot of light pollution, you still get the character of the building, you get the form, you get this sense of rhythm because the lighting is on the columns, and you don't get the glare that is commonly associated with having, light coming from the top, that you see it and then you have to cover your eyes because it's not good for you. There's also the notion of complementing the architectural lighting with the landscape lighting. So you've got the uplights hitting these trees. I think they are kalachuchi. So that's it for lighting. Another lesson that we can have here is that even the simplest details in terms of terminations can make a difference. So what I mean by that, if you look at this stone mass that houses the planter, you'll see that there's this little shadow that is cast underneath. And that shadow is a very, very nice transition from the white stone to the water. It seems as if this plant box is floating. And all that entails is a recess in that last part of the planter box in order for it to float, rather than it goes straight down and you lose that effect. In the same vein, for the corridor that goes around this courtyard, you also have a termination wherein the floor has a little bit of a nosing as well. It doesn't go straight down. There's also a little bit of a nosing here. So details matter, consistency matters. And another thing, one last thing that is good to note is that other than terminations, other than composition, indoor-outdoor space, discipline in terms of how you lay out the structural grid is also very important. And you can see it in how they did the end stone for the transitions between the tile and the water. So this material is going to be a little bit more rough, no? It's a little bit more rough so that people don't slip and fall into the reflecting pool. But also notice on what they did with the detail of the column. So when you do a wood column, you don't want it to go all the way down. So you will have a little bit of a like a pedestal of some sort, so that the water does not so that the wood doesn't touch water when it rains. But also take note of how they decided to align the column. The column, if you look at it in plan, will align perfectly at the midpoint of this transition between the tile and the end stone. So looking at it on plan as an overview, you can see more clearly the discipline that SCDA put into it. So even in terms of the layout of the columns, they know that the termination between the columns and the tiles is something that they have to, incorporate into the overall grid, into the overall effect. Okay. Now, taking a look maybe at the culmination of this experience. So again, once you enter the roundabout, you enter and then you see a semi-outdoor space and you're like, wow, this is great. But if you look to the left, you'll see another pavilion. You go up a little bit, and this is the one that really opens to more water, more pools, more water feature, and really opens up your view to the rest of the development. And this is how it looks. So again, very ordered, very beautiful, very subdued. You'll notice again the same principles with regards to the uplighting, lighting the structure up here, the regularity in terms of the column location, and how even the roof framing falls very well into that grid. They really planned it from the start. You will see the formality and the repose of the structure with respect to the symmetry along this axis. You've got the planters here, and you also have the water feature on center. You also see the notion of counterpoints, wherein you've got these very gray looking walls. You've got the very wood and yellowish roof structure because of the lighting. And what really pops out is the floor plane. So this very white stone floor material, no? It really pops out in a very beautiful way. Now, this beautiful structure, of course, is nice in perspective, but as an architect, syempre you have to plan how you detail it, how you draw it out. And you can see very clearly from the section that they were very ordered in how they did it. One thing that you can learn, of course, is how the details of the column pedestals and the downspouts and the different bracings for the roof added to the visual amenity. So again, they celebrated these details. They provided an uplight for that. At the same time, even the planning of the drainage for this area, seeing how they provided a reinforced concrete slab here, and how they also factored in the consistency of elements into their ceiling and wall design. So they've got the louvers along this side, they've got the louvers along here in this ceiling treatment, again very ordered around the center. And these louvers also provide a means to cover, obviously, the pipes that will run through this area from the drainage channels. So all in all, of course, I've worked with Suchan myself before. He's a great guy, a great architect. And I hope you guys learned a lot from this or got some ideas on how you can apply it into your daily lives or your daily practice. So with that, hope you guys are doing well. I'll see you next time.